1 hour a day. That's all it takes to create separation, real separation, between who you are today and who you could be tomorrow. We often think that transformation demands radical change, long nights, endless hustle. But it's not intensity that changes you. It's consistency. It's that one quiet hour day after day when no one's watching and no one's clapping. That's where change lives. Let's do some basic math. 1 hour a day equals 365 hours a year. That's more than 9 full-time work weeks focused entirely on growth. Imagine how much progress you could make in a language, in a business idea, in your fitness, your faith, your finances. Most people never experience that level of sustained self-improvement because they're waiting for motivation, for the right time, for some kind of signal. But those who understand the power of just one focused hour daily, they stop waiting and start winning. A friend once told me, "I don't have time to reinvent myself." I said, "You don't need to reinvent yourself. You need to give yourself 1 hour a day." See, most people think transformation comes from massive effort, but lasting transformation comes from repeated investment. A small drip over time will wear away the largest stone. Now picture this. A young man wants to learn public speaking. He's terrified of standing in front of others, hands trembling, voice breaking. He doesn't need to enroll in a 10-week seminar. He doesn't need to hire a coach just yet. What he needs is 1 hour a day. 1 hour reading, listening to great speakers, rehearsing in front of a mirror, watching his posture, recording himself. After 1 month, he's less afraid. After 3 months, he's confident. After 6, he's compelling. After a year, he speaks with presence, with power, and with purpose. That's the power of 365 hours you never see on the calendar. You don't need a miracle. You need a margin of time that you protect like your life depends on it, because in many ways it does. And here's the secret, that 1 hour a day doesn't just change your skills, it changes your identity. You stop being someone who wishes and start being someone who works, someone who commits, someone who finishes. You become dependable to yourself. And that, my friend, is the greatest confidence builder in the world. Becoming the kind of person who keeps their own word, even when no one else is looking. You don't have to change everything overnight. You just need to start changing something every day. For 1 hour, that's the formula, the seed. And if you plant that seed daily, the future will bloom in ways that today can't even imagine. 1 hour a day, consistently spent in reflection, in study, in solitude, can rewrite the script playing in your head. And let me tell you something that most never learn. Your mindset is the compass of your life. If it's pointed in the wrong direction, no amount of hustle will get you where you want to go. There was a time in my life when I was working harder than I ever had, yet I felt like I was running in circles. Why? Because I had never taken the time to think. Not just think about what I was doing, but why I was doing it. 1 hour a day gave me back that power. I began waking up earlier, sitting quietly, writing out my thoughts, reading a few pages from a powerful book, and letting wisdom, not noise, shape my day. Here's what I learned. You don't rise above your mindset. You grow into it. That's why some people earn millions and still feel broke, while others live simply but feel rich in purpose. It's not about what you have. It's about how you see what you have. And perspective is something you build hour by hour. There was once a man who worked in a factory for 40 years. Every day, same job, same routine. One day, someone asked him, "Why didn't you ever do more?" He said, "I never thought I could." That one sentence haunted me. Not because of the man, but because of what it revealed. He didn't lack talent. He lacked belief. And belief is built. You don't wait for it to show up. You cultivate it. How? 1 hour a day. That's the hour where you feed your mind what? The world won't give you truth, encouragement, clarity. You journal your fears and face them. You read biographies of people who overcame the odds. You remind yourself that you don't need to be extraordinary to start. You become extraordinary by starting. 1 hour a day gives you back control, not over the world, over yourself, over your thinking, over the direction of your internal compass. You start noticing your patterns, you start calling out your own excuses, and suddenly, life doesn't feel like a treadmill anymore. It feels like a trail you're blazing. You don't need 24 hours of change. You need 1 hour of honesty, 1 hour of reflection, 1 hour of alignment. And if you do that daily, your mindset won't just change. It will lead 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to change the way your body feels, the way your mind functions, and the energy you bring into every room. People think energy is some mystical force. It's not. It's a byproduct of daily discipline. And your body is the machine that carries your dream. Take care of the machine. I remember meeting a man who had built $1 million company from scratch, but he was exhausted. Every meeting he looked worn out. I asked him, "When's the last time you worked out?" He laughed and said, "I don't have time for that anymore." 2 years later, he had a heart attack. Let me tell you, time is always made, never found. You don't find time to get healthy. You make time, 1 hour a day, and that hour doesn't need to be extreme. You don't need to deadlift 300 pounds or run a marathon. You need movement. You need breath. You need sweat. A brisk walk. A light jog. A 30-minute workout and 30 minutes of stretching, yoga, or breathing. That 1 hour resets your biology. It flushes out stress. It sharpens your focus. It stabilizes your mood. Ever notice how problems feel bigger when you're tired? That's not coincidence. Your body and your brain are connected. Take care of your body, and your brain will thank you. Your decisions will improve. Your resilience will grow. Your productivity will rise, not because you're doing more, but because you're doing it from a place of strength. 1 hour a day tells your body, you matter. And when your body feels valued, it gives back in ways you can't buy. Deeper sleep, stronger immunity, better focus, and let's be honest, more confidence in how you carry yourself. You don't need to look like a fitness model. You need to feel strong, capable, aligned. And that feeling is earned, not given. 1 hour a day builds it, and it's never too late to start. Your body may be behind, but it's listening. Show up for it, and it will show up for you. 1 hour a day, devoted to intentional learning, is the most underestimated force in the modern world. In a time when distractions are endless and entertainment is constant, learning, real learning, has become a rare discipline. But here's the truth. One focused hour a day will place you light years ahead of the average person. Still scrolling, still reacting, still drifting. Imagine this. If you read for 1 hour a day, you'll finish a 300-page book every week. That's 52 books a year. Do you realize how much insight, how much strategy, how many ideas are buried inside those books waiting to be mined? And the best part? That. Knowledge compounds. Every concept builds on the next. You don't just learn facts, you start seeing patterns, you gain wisdom. You start connecting dots others don't even know exist. Let me share a story. A woman I met years ago was stuck in a dead-end job. She had a high school diploma and no clear career path, but she decided to take 1 hour every morning before her shift to read about digital marketing. She read blogs, she watched videos, she took free courses, 1 hour a day. That's it. In 1 year, she had more knowledge than most college graduates in her field. She freelanced, built a portfolio, landed a full-time remote job, and doubled her income. What changed? Not her environment, not her connections, just 1 hour of intentional learning. Daily. And it doesn't have to be just reading. Listening to audiobooks during your commute. Watching lectures during lunch. Practicing a new language, a new skill, a new tool. The internet has democratized knowledge. The question is not whether the information is available. The question is whether you are available for the information. Most people don't have a knowledge problem. They have an attention problem. They know what they should be learning, but they don't make space for it. 1 hour a day is your commitment to closing the gap between knowing and becoming. There's something powerful that happens when you set aside this time daily. You begin to feel momentum. You begin to feel yourself getting sharper. You start talking differently, thinking differently. People around you notice. They call it confidence, but you'll know it's competence, and competence always wins. Learning isn't just about acquiring knowledge, it's about changing the way you see the world. A new book can open up a new future. A single course can reveal a new path. But that only happens if you show up for the lesson. So I ask you, what would happen if you gave yourself 1 hour a day to become wiser than the version of you yesterday? I'll tell you what would happen. After 1 year, you won't recognize yourself. Because the distance between who you are and who you can be is exactly 365 hours of deliberate learning, 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to transform your relationships, to go from distant to connected, from reactive to intentional, from transactional to meaningful. In a world that moves fast and shouts loud, the people closest to us often get the leftovers. 1 hour a day can change that. You don't need to make grand gestures. You need to show up consistently. 1 hour spent with your spouse, your kids, your parents, your closest friends, without a phone, without multitasking, is worth more than a weekend full of half-present moments. It's not about quantity of time. It's about quality of attention. I once heard a man say, "I'd die for my family." Another man replied, "That's noble, but will you live for them? Will you give them your best hour today?" That stuck with me, because giving someone your time is the greatest proof of love. You can't fake it. You can't outsource it. You can't automate it. Let me tell you about my friend, a father of 2, busy executive. He was climbing the ladder but losing touch with his son. He told me, "I'm doing all of this for him, but we barely talk." I said, "Give him 1 hour a day, just 1 hour, no distractions, let him lead the conversation, let him see you listen." He did. It changed everything. They talked, they laughed, they reconnected. That 1 hour wasn't an obligation. It became their favorite time of day. His relationship didn't need a vacation. It needed intention. And here's the beauty. 1 hour a day of connection prevents years of regret. Too many people look back and say, "I wish I had spent more time." Don't let that be your story. Choose now. Make the time. Protect it. That hour can be a walk, a meal, a shared hobby, a deep conversation, even silence, if it's together. Because presence is louder than words. And the people in your life don't need your perfection. They need your attention. And, yes, relationships require work. But like anything meaningful, they respond to investment. 1 hour a day says, "You matter." 1 hour a day says, "I'm here." And over time, that builds trust. It builds intimacy. It builds bonds that can weather any storm. Don't wait for the holidays to say what needs to be said. Don't wait for tragedy to appreciate what you have. Use your hour today. Because love, like a garden, grows where it's watered. 1 hour a day is the water. 1 hour a day, alone. No noise, no social media, no obligations, just you and your thoughts. That one sacred hour can become the most important meeting of your day. Because in the silence, you hear things you've been too busy to notice. You remember who you are. The world is loud. It tells you what to want, how to act, who to become. But the voice of your true self is quiet. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And if you don't give it space, you'll forget it's there. Solitude isn't loneliness. It's communion. It's where you meet your purpose again. It's where you ask the hard questions. Am I living on autopilot? Am I aligned with what I value? Am I climbing a ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall? I've known many successful people who were miserable. Not because they didn't achieve their goals, but because they achieved the wrong ones. Why? Because they never stopped to reflect. 1 hour a day could have saved them years of chasing the wind. During solitude, you write, you pray, you think, you breathe. You walk slowly not to get somewhere but to feel present. You realign, you simplify, you return, And something amazing happens when you do this daily. You become less reactive, less shaken by the chaos of the world, because your roots grow deeper. You know who you are. You remember what you want. And when you re-enter the world, you do so with clarity, not confusion. 1 hour a day in solitude is not a luxury. It's a necessity. For the soul, for the spirit, for your sanity. If you don't give yourself space to think, you will live by the thoughts of others. But 1 quiet hour reminds you, you're not here to be a copy. You're here to be a calling. You don't need more noise. You need more stillness, not forever. Just 1 hour a day. And that hour will anchor your entire life. 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to start building something that belongs to you. Not your boss, not a company, not a paycheck, you. It might sound small. It might feel slow. But I'll tell you something that's true. Fortunes are built in quiet hours. When no one's watching and no one's paying you. That's when the seeds are planted. Most people are waiting for more time, waiting for the weekend, waiting for their schedule to open up. But opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. If you can give 1 hour a day, just 1 hour, to that idea you've been carrying, to that side hustle you've been dreaming about, to that problem you know how to solve for others, in time, that hour will pay you back more than any job ever could. I've seen it happen. I had a friend who worked a regular 9 to 5, but he started waking up 1 hour earlier every morning to write. Just 1 hour. At first, it felt like nothing. A paragraph here, a blog post there. But after a year, he had a following. After 2 years, he had clients. After 3 years, he had a full-time business, doing what he loved, helping people, and working on his own terms. That hour a day changed his life. And here's the thing, it wasn't magic. It was math. 1 hour a day is 365 hours a year. That's more time than some people spend earning a master's degree. If you invest that time in solving a real problem, creating real value, building real systems, that's a business. But you must treat that hour with respect. It's not casual time. It's not when I feel like it time. It's sacred. Schedule it, protect it, and most importantly, use it. Don't spend the hour consuming. Spend it creating. Build your website. Reach out to potential clients. Design your product. Write your content. Learn your market. Test your idea. Do the work others keep putting off. And yes, at first it will feel like nothing is happening. But every seed planted today shows up as fruit tomorrow. The world may not see your hour, but one day, they will see your results. People say, I don't have enough money to start a business. I say, start with time. Time is the original capital. Time is what turns dreams into assets. 1 hour a day is your investment, and the return, if you stay consistent, can be financial freedom. You don't need an office. You don't need investors. You don't need permission. You need a problem to solve, a person to serve, and 1 hour a day to do it consistently. If you stay faithful to that, your business won't just grow, it'll lead you to places you never imagined. 1 hour a day. That's what separates the amateur from the master. 1 hour a day of disciplined practice, not scrolling, not dabbling, but focused effort, where you stretch, where you improve, where you sharpen your edge. That's how greatness is forged. People look at athletes, artists, speakers, performers, and say, they're so talented. But talent is just the beginning. The difference lies in what they do with their time. 1 hour a day, consistently, compounds into mastery. And mastery opens doors nothing else can. Let me tell you about a young woman I knew. She loved photography, but treated it like a hobby. Then she decided to dedicate 1 hour a day, every day, to learning her craft. She studied lighting, composition, editing. She took photos daily, gave herself critiques, studied other greats. After 6 months, her work transformed. After a year, she had clients. After 2 years, she had a waiting list. Her craft became her calling, all from one sacred hour a day. What if you gave that same hour to your craft? Whether it's writing, speaking, designing, coding, painting, coaching, whatever it is, what would your life look like after 365 hours of focused development? Here's the truth. The world pays a premium for excellence. But excellence is not born. It's built. 1 hour at a time, in the shadows, in the quiet. In the daily choice to push a little further than yesterday, and that hour will do something else too. It will give you pride, not ego, pride, the deep kind, the kind that comes from knowing you've earned what you have, that you've poured yourself into something meaningful, that you've developed skill, not by accident, but by intention. Most people will never give themselves the gift of mastery because they want fast results. But fast results fade. Mastery lasts. Mastery gives you leverage. Mastery gives you options. Mastery makes you dangerous, in the best way. Because now you don't have to chase opportunity. Opportunity finds you, so don't underestimate the power of 1 hour a day. It doesn't look like much on the calendar, but in the hands of someone committed, it's a weapon. It's a forge. And what it forges is something rare in this world, someone great at what they do. 1 hour a day. In nature, no screens, no meetings, just wind, light, air, and presence. That 1 hour can do more to heal your stress, restore your peace, and reset your nervous system than any pill or podcast ever could. We weren't meant to live entirely indoors. We weren't built for endless concrete and artificial light. There's something sacred, even ancient, about being outside. Something your soul remembers even if your schedule forgets. That's why 1 hour in nature isn't just rest. It's return. I knew a man once who was always anxious, always on edge. He had success, money, status, but inside, he was depleted. I asked him one question. When's the last time you walked through the trees with no phone, no task, no agenda? He looked confused. He couldn't remember, so he started doing it. Every day. 1 hour in a nearby park. Sometimes he'd walk. Sometimes he'd sit. But he left the devices behind. He breathed. He observed. He let nature speak. And slowly, he felt peace again. Not from doing more, but from remembering who he was without all the noise. Nature teaches patience. Trees don't rush. Rivers don't panic. Birds don't worry. When you spend time outside, something happens to your pace. You begin to match the rhythm of the world, not the urgency of the inbox. And it's not just emotional. Science backs it. Exposure to green space reduces cortisol, increases clarity, enhances creativity. 1 hour in nature has more health, benefits than hours spent inside under stress. That hour also reconnects you with wonder. You remember how small you are, in a good way. You stop thinking the world rests on your shoulders. You notice light hitting leaves, clouds moving across sky, the detail in a flower. And somehow, those things remind you, life is still beautiful, even in chaos. You don't have to move to the mountains. You don't need a cabin in the woods. You need intention. A walk by the lake, a bench under a tree, a sunrise, a sunset. Even your backyard will do, if you show up with presence. So go. Be still. Walk slowly. Breathe deeply. Let the wind clear your mind. Let the silence speak louder than your notifications. 1 hour a day in nature won't just calm you. It will connect you to peace, to presence, to perspective. And once you've tasted that, you'll want to return every day. 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to transform not just your body, but your entire life. Most people think exercise is about abs and weight loss, and sure, that's part of it. But 1 hour a day of movement gives you something far more valuable: energy, clarity, and confidence. And when you have those, You become unstoppable. You don't need to be an athlete. You don't need fancy equipment. You don't need to compare yourself to anyone else. You just need to move, walk, stretch, lift, run, dance. Do push-ups in your bedroom. Ride your bike through the neighborhood. Sweat out the stress and breathe in the power. Your body was made to move. When you deny it that hour, it gets sluggish. Your mind fogs. Your emotions get heavier. But give your body 1 hour of intentional movement, and it will thank you with clarity, creativity, and calm. You'll think better. You'll sleep better. You'll feel more alive. There was a man I knew who worked in finance, brilliant, driven, but constantly fatigued. He drank coffee by the gallon, complained about brain fog, and thought something was wrong with him. Nothing was wrong. He was just stuck. So I challenged him. 1 hour a day. That's it. No phones, no screens, just movement. At first he walked. Then he added light training. Then he found a rhythm. In 6 weeks, he looked different. In 12 weeks, he sounded different. He had energy. He had ideas. He had drive. The fog was gone. The light was back. You see, movement is not punishment. It's power. 1 hour a day reminds you that you're strong, that you have control, that your body is a gift, and you get to treat it with honor. Don't wait until your health forces you to move. Move now. Move while it's a choice, not a crisis. And here's the real secret. It's not just about how you look. It's about how you feel, how you carry yourself, how you show up in the world. You walk into a room differently when you've moved your body. You speak more clearly. You make decisions more boldly. You handle setbacks with more resilience. Because your body and mind are connected. And when your body is alive, your mind follows. 1 hour a day. That's the invitation. Not to chase perfection, but to build strength. Not to impress others, but to empower yourself. Because when your body works, everything else works better. 1 hour a day. With pen in hand and thoughts on paper. That's the quiet revolution most people never discover. We live in a noisy world, external noise, internal chaos. And in the middle of all of it, clarity is rare. But clarity lives in your journal, and 1 hour a day can help you find it. Journaling is not just writing, it's thinking. It's listening to your mind, unpacking your emotions, planning your future, capturing your lessons. It's a conversation with yourself that no one else can hear. And in that conversation, you discover who you really are. I met a man who journaled every morning for an hour, faithfully, for years. He was calm, collected, confident. When chaos hit, he didn't panic. When opportunity came, he was ready. I asked him what made the biggest difference in his life, and without hesitation he said, "My journal." It wasn't his MBA, not his network, not his resume. It was 1 quiet hour a day, facing himself honestly. You can use your journal for gratitude. Write 3 things you're thankful for every day. You'll train your mind to see abundance where others see lack. You'll feel peace, not because your life is perfect, but because your focus has changed. You can use it for planning. Write your goals. Break them down. Track your progress. That hour becomes your strategy session. And most people don't fail from lack of effort. They fail from lack of clarity. Journaling gives you both. You can use it to process pain, to grieve, to let go, to forgive. The page listens when no one else can. It doesn't judge. It doesn't interrupt. It just holds your truth, and in doing so, helps you heal. And here's what happens after a year of 1 hour journaling. You'll look back and see your growth. You'll see patterns. You'll see victories. You'll see the moments you almost gave up, but didn't. And you'll realize something profound. You've become stronger than you knew. Most people carry thoughts in their head like clutter in a messy room. Journaling is the act of cleaning that room. 1 hour a day, and suddenly, there's space. Space to think, to dream, to decide. It's not about being a great writer. It's about being an honest one. Because when you face yourself, everything changes. Your doubts shrink, your courage grows, and your life begins to move in alignment with your truest self. So I ask you, when's the last time you really listened to yourself? 1 hour a day is all it takes to hear your own wisdom again. 1 hour a day, not for yourself, but for others. To help, to uplift, to give without expecting in return. That single hour could be the most fulfilling part of your day, and over time, the most fulfilling part of your life. You see, success without service is empty. Achievement without contribution feels hollow. We were never meant to rise alone. We were meant to rise together. And 1 hour a day can remind you of that truth. Maybe you help a neighbor. Maybe you mentor a student. Maybe you volunteer. Maybe you send encouraging messages. Maybe you serve your family with patience instead of pressure. However you do it, that hour shifts your focus from self to others, and something powerful happens when you do. I knew a man, wildly successful, but deeply restless. Nothing satisfied him for long. Then he began mentoring young entrepreneurs for 1 hour every evening. No pay, no platform, just service. And over time, he said that was the most rewarding part of his day. I feel like I'm giving something eternal, he told me. And he was right. Because impact outlives income. Service gives perspective. Suddenly, your problems feel smaller. Your gratitude grows. You stop obsessing over what you don't have and start using what you do have to make a difference. And it doesn't have to be public. In fact, the best service is often invisible. A kind word, a listening ear, a helpful hand, a generous heart. 1 hour a day where you choose to give rather than get. And you'll discover a wealth deeper than money. 1 hour a day serving others is not about sacrifice. It's about alignment. Aligning your life with something bigger than yourself. And when you do that, you find purpose. You find joy. You find meaning in even the smallest acts. So give the hour, not because you have to, because you get to. Because every time you lift someone else, you rise too. 1 hour a day can change someone's life. And it just might be yours. 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to separate yourself from the average. If you're willing to read for 1 hour every single day, not to impress others, not to chase trends, but to grow your mind, you will quickly become more knowledgeable, more insightful, and more valuable to the world than you can imagine. We live in a world that is flooded with information but starving for wisdom. Most people scroll endlessly but never truly learn. They consume content but don't digest truth. But when you read, when you sit with the thoughts of great minds, with timeless ideas, with depth instead of distraction, you begin to change from the inside out. I met a woman once who had never gone to college, never had formal education, but she read for an hour a day, every day, for years. Philosophy, business, psychology, history. She became one of the wisest people I knew. Why? Because books became her mentors. She had conversations with minds greater than her own, and it shaped her thinking, sharpened her decisions, and deepened her character. Reading is a habit of the disciplined. It's not flashy. No one applauds you for opening a book, but the reward is internal. You start to think clearer, speak better, decide faster. You begin to recognize patterns others miss. You see through lies. You spot opportunities. You ask better questions. And the quality of your life is determined by the quality of the questions you ask. 1 hour a day. That's 5 hours a week. That's over 250 hours a year. That's like completing several college courses without the tuition. And it's not just about career success, though that often comes too. It's about becoming more human, more compassionate, more aware. Reading grows your empathy because you step into other perspectives. It expands your imagination because you live in other worlds. It strengthens your discipline because you commit to focus. And in today's distracted age, focus is a superpower. You don't have to read for performance. Read for joy, for understanding, for growth. Read fiction, nonfiction, biographies. Read ancient wisdom and modern research. Let it shape you. Let it feed you. And yes, at first it might be hard. Your mind will want to wander. But train it. Build the muscle. 1 page at a time. 1 chapter at a time. 1 hour at a time. Soon, you'll crave the silence. You'll hunger for insight. You'll prefer the depth of books to the noise of news feeds. So if you want to rise above the crowd, read more than the crowd. 1 hour a day will make you smarter. It will make you wiser. And most of all, it will make you better. 1 hour a day. That's the difference between wandering and winning. Most people live by reaction. They respond to life as it comes. But 1 hour a day of planning puts you in the driver's seat. It gives your dreams direction, your goals structure, your life momentum. You see, it's not enough to want something. Wanting is easy. It's common. What's rare is planning, turning dreams into steps, steps into tasks, and tasks into habits. That's where real progress is made. And it only takes 1 hour a day. I knew a man who always talked about his dreams, the business he would build, the book he would write, the trip he would take. But year after year, nothing happened. Then one day, he started a new habit. He set aside 1 hour each night to plan. No distractions, just him and his notebook. He wrote down his goals, outlined the steps, set timelines, tracked progress. And slowly, something changed. His ideas became actions. His actions became momentum. And in 2 years, he was living the life he once only talked about. That's the power of 1 hour a day. Planning is not just lists. It's clarity. It's focus. It's saying, this matters. This is where I'm going. It's choosing, too. Live with intention instead of drifting with distraction. In that hour, review your goals. Break them down. Look at your calendar. Schedule what matters. Anticipate obstacles. Measure your progress. Visualize success. It's a discipline, and it turns chaos into clarity. You see, life doesn't give you what you wish for. It gives you what you plan for, work for, prepare for. When you plan consistently, you begin to move with precision. You're not busy. You're effective. You're not overwhelmed. You're strategic. That's a different level of living. And don't wait until January 1st. Start today. Make your goals visible. Write them down every day. Keep them in front of you. That hour becomes your anchor, and the rest of your day aligns to it. Most people think planning kills spontaneity. But the opposite is true. Planning creates freedom. It gives you time for what really matters. It reduces stress. It helps you say no to distractions because you're clear on your destination. 1 hour a day. That's how you turn vision into reality. That's how you make your goals inevitable. 1 hour a day. That's the bridge between where you are and where you could be. 1 hour spent learning every single day is the difference between getting stuck in the past and creating a future on your terms. The world is changing fast, but if you're learning, you're adapting. And if you're adapting, you're winning. Let me tell you about a friend of mine. He was in a career that was slowly dying, the kind where technology was replacing people. Most of his coworkers were in denial, but not him. He started dedicating 1 hour a day to learning coding, just an hour, every evening, after work. While others were watching TV, he was building a new future. After a year, he was fluent. After 2, he had a new job, double the pay, remote freedom, and security. That hour changed everything. Here's the truth. In today's economy, learning is no longer optional. If you're not learning, you're falling behind. But the good news is, you don't need to go back to school. You just need commitment. 1 hour a day. You can learn languages, marketing, finance, public speaking. Data science, leadership, AI, design. Whatever you choose, the world has resources, books, courses, podcasts, mentors, and most of them are free. The cost is not money, it's discipline. And that skill you learn, it gives you leverage. It opens doors. It makes you more valuable, more employable, more resilient. You won't fear the future because you're preparing for it. You're growing into it. You also gain something deeper, confidence. Not just confidence that says, I'm good at what I do, but confidence that says, I can learn anything. That kind of belief changes your entire posture in life. You stop fearing change. You start chasing it, 1 hour a day. It's not just about skill, it's about identity. You become a learner, a grower, a person who doesn't stay stuck, because you've built the habit of transformation. So I ask, you, what skill would change your life if you mastered it? Don't wait for permission. Don't wait for the perfect time. The time is now. And all it takes is 1 hour a day, 1 hour a day. One quiet, honest hour where you pause, look back, and ask yourself the hard questions. That's how wisdom is born. Not from age, not from experience alone, but from reflection. Because life doesn't teach you unless you're listening, and most people are moving too fast to hear the lessons. We repeat what we don't reflect on. We carry old patterns into new opportunities. We sabotage growth because we never stop to understand why we failed the last time. But 1 hour a day of intentional reflection is like turning on a light in a dark room. Suddenly, you can see clearly. You stop bumping into the same problems. You start making better decisions. I once met a business owner who journaled every night, 1 full hour. No phone, no noise, just him and the day. He asked himself 3 questions. What went well? What went wrong? What can I learn? And those questions made him millions. Why? Because he didn't just live. He studied his own life. Reflection doesn't mean regret. It means awareness. It means recognizing where you lost time, where you let emotions lead, where you overlooked a key detail. It also means celebrating, seeing what you did right so you can do more of it. You might think, I don't have time to reflect, but I'll tell you this, you don't have time not to. Reflection protects your most valuable asset, your time. 1 hour a day can save you from weeks, months, even years of repeating avoidable mistakes. Use that hour to think about your decisions, your conversations, your goals. Ask yourself what's working and what's not. Be honest, be kind, but be clear. The goal is not to criticize yourself. The goal is to become more conscious, more aware, more awake. And here's what happens when you reflect daily. You become a better leader, a better parent, a better friend, a better creator. Because you're not reacting out of habit. You're responding out of wisdom. You stop operating blindly. You start living on purpose. So take the hour, every day, make it sacred. Reflection may not be glamorous, but it is powerful. 1 hour a day to look back, so you can move forward with clarity and strength. 1 hour a day. That's all it takes to start telling your story before someone else tells it for you. In today's world, your personal brand is your digital handshake, your silent reputation, your invisible ambassador. And if you spend just 1 hour a day building it intentionally, you'll open doors that would have stayed shut for a lifetime. Most people think a personal brand is for celebrities. It's not. A personal brand is simply how people perceive you when you're not in the room. And in the age of the internet, you're always being perceived. 1 hour a day lets you shape that narrative with purpose. I met a man who was brilliant, talented, hardworking, honest, but nobody knew him. His work spoke volumes, but he was invisible online. I encouraged him to share what he was learning. 1 post a day, 1 blog a week, 1 hour to shape his message. Within months, recruiters found him. Clients sought him out. He didn't have to chase opportunities. They started chasing him. That's the power of visibility. That's the value of consistency. Use 1 hour a day to create content, share your insights, Document your journey. Offer value without asking for anything in return. Be authentic, not flashy. Be useful, not loud. Over time, people begin to trust you. They associate you with excellence, and trust is the new currency. Building a brand doesn't mean being fake. It means being intentional. It means knowing what you stand for and showing up consistently to communicate that. Your voice matters. Your perspective matters. But it won't matter if it stays hidden. 1 hour a day could be spent writing, recording, designing, connecting, commenting, collaborating. It doesn't matter how. It matters that you show up. Because when people know you, like you, and trust you, the world opens up. That hour is an investment. In relationships, in positioning, in influence. Don't underestimate what can happen in a year if you commit to it. A community, a platform, a career shift, a calling discovered. So use 1 hour a day to tell your story. Someone out there needs your voice. Don't let doubt silence it. Don't let fear bury it. Speak, and watch the doors open. 1 hour a day. That hour where you step away from the noise, the goals, the plans, and you reconnect with something deeper, something higher, something eternal. 1 hour of faith, of spiritual connection, can give you peace that the world can't take away. You can have all the success in the world, but if your soul is restless, you'll never feel whole. 1 hour a day grounds you, centers you, reminds you that you are not just a machine for productivity. You are a human being with a soul that longs for meaning, truth, and connection. I remember speaking with a man who had built a fortune, a titan of industry. From the outside, he had it all. But he confessed to me, "I feel empty." He had gained the world, but lost touch with his inner life. Then he started spending 1 hour a day in quiet prayer, meditation, and scripture. No business talk, no ego, just stillness. And he told me, that hour is saving my life. Whether you believe in God, the universe, or divine energy, that's your journey. But what's universal is this: we all need a deeper foundation, a spiritual anchor. Without it, success becomes stress, fame becomes fear, growth becomes burnout. Use 1 hour a day to pray, to meditate, to read sacred texts, to reflect on your values, to express gratitude, to forgive, to listen in silence. That hour gives you clarity when life is noisy. It gives you hope when life is hard. It gives you purpose when life feels empty. And it doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to be a saint. You just have to show up 1 hour a day. That's how you feed the part of you that the world can't reach, the part of you that stays steady in storms, humble in victory, and joyful in all seasons. In that hour, you remember who you are, whose you are, why you're here, and when. Your soul is strong. Everything else finds its rightful place. So don't neglect it. Make space for the sacred, 1 hour a day, and your spirit will carry you through anything.